Well, let's get this meeting started,
Yeah.
no agenda now?
No.
Alright.
Our agenda lady, AWOL.
Bill? So, hot topic. Thought Steve was coming down. The generators, if he's got any update on it. Cause you didn't know, that, you know, all three of our fire stations were broken into, generator stolen.
They stole all three?
Yeah.
Oh, Howard thought there was only two that were stolen. He told
Well,
me.
at first they
Right.
thought it was only two.
Yeah,
But, Stevie Thorne was looking around at Norfolk, and
yeah.
they took the one off the engine up there. That's a small one. The other two were larger generators.
What a crummy thing to do.
Yeah.
To a town.
Yeah.
I mean, if we could have a fire, I just can't even imagine.
Yeah. And it could have been easy for them, because I think the West Baldwin, they broke in the back door.
That's what Howard told me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So were the generators on dollies or something that you can move them inside? They were inside the building?
Inside the building,
Yeah.
And they have like a handle with wheels, you know, roll them around
Yeah.
like that.
Mhm.
So they're good size, so it's two or three of them to muscle that thing in a pickup.
Howard said that he thought they probably took it into the cemetery.
Yeah,
Put it out.
I guess they might have packed it in the cemetery out of sight, so down back, I guess they followed the tracks around, down in and up around the other side.
He was very distressed about it.
Yeah. And then the two of our signs got destroyed right after that.
Now, who would know that the whole town, all the fire departments had a generator? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
It's kind of like, I mean, I'm not in the criminal mindset, but if I was, do I just assume that West Baldwin Fire Department has a, so it almost seems like
Yeah, but that's the only thing that was taken too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other things that was
weird.
worth.
Yeah.
Except, you know, like Norfolk, when there's a big generator up there, but I guess they didn't see it or something, and just grabbed the one off the engine one.
Right.
So, yeah, I think it's,
So I have two other questions about it.
Sure.
One is, what is the replacement cost? Do we know?
I don't know at this time. I think Steve's been working on it and communicating with the deputies.
And the other question is, can you just put some little extra money in there and get cameras for the fire department?
Thinking on that too, yeah.
I can't believe that there weren't already surveillance cameras on those fire departments.
There was East Baldwin, but those got disconnected.
Oh,
The other two wasn't.
Well,
We've never had a problem. you
Right.
know, it's,
but I suggest hidden cameras that
Yeah.
you can't see.
Inside
and out.
Right.
Howard thought, Howard thought that maybe that one or two of those generators might involve grant money, therefore there'd be the numbers for it, you know,
serial numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think at least one of them was, I think, so
Well, that's a good thing.
it should be.
yeah.
That's another thing, serial numbers are never recorded, so if they find them, they can't. Last time I knew anyway, I don't know, but these guys were not updated about it.
They might have, if it was doing inventories,
Yeah.
you know, because it's assessing all the buildings and so forth with that survey, so maybe.
Yeah.
Is it possible to put another identifying mark on any replacement generators?
Because
So
probably,
that's not easily removable?
yeah, you can
Like
engrave.
etch it?
Yeah,
Engrave it,
even,
yeah.
engrave, I try to imagine markers, one is what I do on all my tools, just so I don't mix them up with
Yeah.
different people on job sites.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, 9 times out of 10, something stolen will never be seen again anyway,
I
so,
understand.
you know, I get the concept, but,
might be a deterrent.
Yeah, well.
Yeah,
You're always the optimist, always the optimist.
Not so much, huh?
So the other thing is, I was thinking, what if you put up a reward, some reward money for, you know, if anybody had any information
Leading to.
Yeah.
to, you know,
Yeah,
blah,
yeah.
blah, blah. I mean, somebody might go for $500.
Yeah. Something like,
You know, these people don't ever do this stuff and not talk about it to somebody.
Yes, nobody knows.
someone might grab a friend out or something for
Yeah.
drug money.
Yeah, they got no moral.
I mean,
That's right,
That's
they
right.
don't.
It's
Yeah.
that shit.
I love the engraving idea, you know,
Yeah.
Cameras have you gotta have some hidden cameras inside and out of that fire
Well,
department.
depends on, they might wanna see, yeah, do a cost analysis.
I was thinking about, you know, not only the fire departments, but down to the garage and here too.
Yeah.
Upgrading the cameras here at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And make them so that someone doesn't know where they are,
Right.
you know, I mean, you
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah, I mean, Stevie Dawn showed me his cameras at his house. He showed me on the phone, and they are really clear. I mean, it's.
Right.
Here you go.
Hey, guys.
Hey there. Hey, how we doing?
We
Oh,
can talk
we
about the
saved that.
generators. Any updates from the generators? Still going?
Oh, I got it. There's no agenda tonight, so did you figure out where you'd like to fit me in?
Right
We should
now,
probably go
we're
towards
on-
the end, because I have a conversation.
We're on topic right now with
Yeah.
the generators.
Oh, wonderful.
Talking about
Which generators you are?
That's
Good.
the big story this week.
Oh.
Generators and signs.
What else is new? Yeah, all probably roughly the same people.
Yeah,
So, I'll give you basically a quick report about how and everything that we have documented that happened. And then I'll give you my opinion on it. So basically, we had the storm on December 18th. During that storm, I actually was working my career job in Westbrook. We ran 42 calls, so a call every half hour. It was insane. And I was still managing a little bit of command from far away because Deputy Chief Chris here really kind of helped us out. We got called to a structure fire in Cornish. There was a house that was on fire, a generator. Well, again, generators are the topic. Called the structure fire in Westbrook too. That was attached to this gentleman's house, caused a fire inside the house. It was a legitimate fire. Baldwin was needed. Baldwin did a good job. We showed up with 2 SCBA ready people, went inside the house, overhauled the house after the fire was extinguished. It was a busy day because there was a lot of wires down, trees in the roadway. It was a busy day for Baldwin. So at the time, in that morning, West Baldwin, I think, had lost power around 8:30 a.m. East and North stations didn't at first. At 17:12, that's when the Cornish structure fire dispatch tone went out. And when Stevie and Zach Franklin got to the fire station, they realized there's no power. When we have no power at the fire stations, we can't open the doors to our fire station to get the trucks out. So typically we start our generator really quick, plug it in, and get the doors open. Stevie noticed that there was no generator at that time. I was like, okay, well, we have a fire, so like we gotta go. And climbed on top of the truck, popped the manual, got the door open, went and responded to the fire, and, you know, we did our job. Returned, when they got back from the call, Stevie and Zach investigated, and there was no sign of forced entry. But Stevie also noticed that our jumper pack for starting vehicles, like starting a down vehicle was also gone. And he called me, and while I was at Westbrook, and was like, well, do you know where the generator is? So we've been through this a few times before in Baldwin, where a fire department member will sometimes borrow the generator when we have a power down situation because, you know, somebody needs power. And as a fire department, we're definitely really willing to help. Ever since I've been running the show, everybody kind of knows that this is a permission thing. I don't do things without permission. I need to know where all my stuff is because it's all of our stuff. So I wasn't advised that anybody had taken it, but that's kind of what we thought since there was no forced entry. There's was no sign indicating anything was actually stolen at the time. I sent out an IM Responding, which is our, messaging platform for fire. It's how we get our dispatches over the phone. Our generator from East Baldwin is missing. If anybody has it, please return it. It's supposed to ask permission. No big deal, water under the bridge, nobody's gonna be in trouble, please return the generator. I heard back from nobody. I followed up with a couple of people that I thought might be in the position to take the generator, and nothing. So it kinda like raised an eyebrow and was waiting, hopefully that maybe somebody was just scared that I was gonna yell at them, and the generator would come back. Not 2 days later, I get a phone call from Howard, who went down to, Station 3 in West Baldwin, and, he didn't notice anything out of the ordinary on the 22nd. That was when he was down there doing truck checks, meaning no forced break-in, no generator missing, no nothing. On the 27th, he returned to finish up his truck checks and noticed that the back door, the window had been smashed on the back door, the knobs had been broken off the door, the cameras had been broken off in the back, and he called me right away and he was like, hey, I don't really want to go in, and disturb anything. What do we need to do? I said, well, I'll be down there. I've just gotten off shift, so I said, I'll be down there. I need to take a shower quick. I'll be down there in a little bit. I said, do me a favor, go in the other door and see if the generator's missing. That just seemed to make sense, and of course, no generator. So I called the Cumberland County Sheriff's Department and said, okay, now I realize that East Baldwin was not borrowed and not returned, it was stolen. A door must have been left unlocked, is what my thinking is. We have that side door that doesn't really lock very well, because it's old, like everything else at our fire stations, and I'm guessing that it was pretty easy to get into, and they just wheeled the generator out the door. West Baldwin was a little bit tighter, but they pretty easy to get in, and our brain for our security cameras over the system that records all of the video over that cameras is also gone. So we have no way of getting any video or doing anything over at West Baldwin. Had the sheriff come over, he took DNA samples off the door, which, after being educated, takes months and months and months, and would have to be somebody who's already in the system to try to cross-reference it with, just like fingerprints. We have no surveillance system there, so we have very low chance of figuring out who and when it happened, but it happened in between the 22nd and the 27th. And it apparently looks like they came from the back of the station. They just pull into the station and do this, because you can see tire tracks in the cemetery of generator tires, wheeling the thing out. So obviously this made me think right away, well, we haven't checked North Station now and haven't heard anything. So I sent Stevie up to North Station. He called me right away. He said, yeah, the knob's broken off the door up here. So we went and looked around North Station and initially didn't find anything, but when we opened the door for, our actually in-house generator is still there at North Station. And when we opened the generator cabinet on engine 1, sure enough, generator's gone. Took it right off the truck. Every other generator is bolted to the truck in a tray, but engine 1 is our oldest vehicle, next to Squad 3. So again, we've been, kind of targeted for the amount of dating that we've had. So basically what this does is, I had the sheriff come up there also. The sheriff investigated all 3 places. Our loss basically totals out at $9,300 with the jumper pack and the 3 generators. We currently have no way to open our station doors if we were to lose power and get our trucks out right now. So it's a pretty serious situation, in my opinion. Not to mention that we're out money. So obviously I've reached out to MMA to see if this is something that would be covered by insurance, and they're going to make that determination. I have case numbers for each one of the investigations that have gone on with the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office, which is what they need in order to kind of, make a judgment call whether it's a real crime or not. I have documentation that we own all of those generators, which is what MMA will need in order to, kind of create a replacement value on them. And so more than likely we'll be reimbursed by our insurance company, for this loss. It kind of, in my eyes, stimulates a larger conversation. To me, I attempted at the beginning of me being chief to really want to upgrade as minimally as possible our current station, since they're deficient in code, construction code, and by the Bureau of Labor standards. So I'm not really willing to spend the townspeople's money on a building that we're just gonna get fined on. We've already been investigated and inspected on. So I did really want to get internet to each one of these stations. North Station poses a little bit of a challenge because it doesn't have the same internet accessibility and serviceability as East and West does, being that it's on Rocket Trail and on a main road. In the last week, I've done that. I made sure that internet service is gonna be put up there. It's expensive, about $1,800 a year per station. Yep, and how else are we supposed to do it? So this is a problem. We have a brain inside there, and we use a camera system that's $500 from, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, and they steal the brain out, and then we don't have any video.
Right.
We need to have remote access to these security cameras, so that at least it sends a picture of phone, like everybody's got our Ring cameras now, and blink cameras at home. It needs to be done. So we then also have to buy cameras. Cameras are about $700 a station. So, if you're looking at least $1,400 just to do the 2 stations, and then, another, probably, I don't know, we'll see how North Station works out when I work on their internet serviceability. I was able to get consolidated to potentially be able to install internet there. So, this is costing us a lot. That still doesn't address the stations themselves and the ability to get into those stations. You have a camera, we can get a picture, but stuff's still gonna get stolen. Our back door has been totally busted in. All of our security knobs, for the most part, have been broken off. And to me, it says we need to put some steel doors in with keypad locks and panic bars. You know what I mean? Panic bars on the inside, the doors that face the outside, these old doors, studs, plywoods, they need to get boarded up. They don't need to be doors anymore, And so, again, it's gonna cost. So I went through and I created like a cost estimate. We have Granger. Granger is one of our accounts. They sell metal doors with panic bars. There's a company called Lockkey that does mechanical code locks. So if we're in a power down situation, we don't have to worry about not being able to get in our station. So MMA hopefully will be able to recover our generators, so we plan to get those back. Cumberland County Sheriffs, we have no idea if they're going to come up with anything. Hopefully maybe we can recover something. Everybody knows I'm from away. I come from a place where when stuff gets stolen, it never comes back. That's just how it is. And sadly, I'm seeing that happen a little bit more and more in Baldwin. I've been here for 5 years now, and I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really seen crime go down. Which makes me think about our availability of police presence, here. I was talking with Bob earlier about this, and me and him are both outside of our jobs here, kind of like smaller government people, but at the same time, I don't think that a police cruiser sitting around in town is gonna scare off people from doing this. But I think the availability of having a contract with Cumberland County is gonna have their response time increased when we do have a problem like this. It took the sheriff 45 minutes to come do the investigation. Not that there was an active robbery going on, but if we have a camera system up that's remote, right? I get the internet, get the doors, we get, the camera system that alerts my phone or Chris's phone or Stevie's phone that somebody's in the department that shouldn't be and is taking stuff out. They broke a window to get in, and the sheriff takes 45 minutes to get there. Well, guess what? Our stuff's still gone. So we lose again. So, it kind of does stimulate a larger conversation about how we're going to invest in public safety and, the fact that we probably for, a couple of $1,000 can get cameras and equipment in order to prevent us losing $9,300. So it's a crappy situation. It's not fun. But it looks like we have a plan to get out of it. We have a plan kind of for the future of a little bit better security. The reason that I guess I'm not saying this with like a happy, cheery smile that I usually have, positive, we're going to figure this out, is because I really believe a new fire station is going to solve a lot of these issues. I really believe that we're stuck putting out small fires, and as Chris likes to say sometimes, put lipstick on a pig. It's, our stations are dated, we're spread out too far, we don't have enough of the proper equipment, and we need to spend money to get there. So, as a team, we kind of got to figure it out, and as a town, we got to figure it out. So, I have some suggestions on that, but I want to at least just give that a rest for a minute. I don't think it's anybody's fault. I think it's just a little bit of long-term neglect that's allowed us to be a target of this stuff. So that's where we're at.
So I think that the goal is better police protection and a better fire station.
We have no choice, so, right, and that's where the huger conversation comes in. I have no problem at this point. I've had a lot of time to sit down after we had our meeting with Great Falls to kind of get an idea. I sat down with Great Falls Construction, just so kind of, who people who are here can kind of understand us a little bit, and you as well, because I think we've talked about it, how am I gonna build a fire station, how much is it gonna cost me? I talked to Great Falls Construction. Great Falls Construction is currently the contractor that is designing and building the fire station over in Sebago that they've tried to build, I think, how many times? Twice? 4 times? And every single time that they shot it down and then tried to rebuild it, guess what? It got more expensive. Got more expensive. So, I spoke with them, being that they're kind of like the leading company, especially in the Cumberland and York area, of building fire stations. They built Wyndham, they built Cash Corner, they're building Sebago. They've had a diversity of huge fire stations and small town ones. And our minimum cost at a fire station that comes up to code, now there's a lot of building codes that surround this and cause this, is around $1.5 million. It's a huge number for a town like this. And if we're really being realistic, every single one of those towns except for Sebago has city water. And why that matters is because a lot of these codes have sprinkler systems involved in them. And when you don't have city water to fill your sprinkler system, you gotta get the water from somewhere. And our wells that we drill for our houses, like I had to drill a well at my house, it was expensive, it was like $11,000 stuff. And, that's not enough to just take care of just a sprinkler system that's gonna be up to code. We need tanks that fill up, don't freeze, so they gotta be underground.
Like a cistern type of deal, yeah.
Yep. So it's astronomical. We're in my mind, it would be kind of more almost looking like a $1.5 to $2 million bill. Now, obviously, we need a fire station if we're gonna solve some of these small issues that keep coming up, whether it's getting fined by BLS, getting things stolen from us, having to put in new doors. There's gonna be a constant cost that if you spend money up front, it's gonna lower your maintenance costs over time. But I can't ask myself, being a townsperson and the townspeople, to bear the cost of a $2 million station. Obviously, we have some granting opportunities, right? And I ran into a very interesting corner with us. So we talked about fire reporting. Last selectmen's meeting that we talked about getting grant money, help offset the cost of these giant stations, and how we can get that grant money, and they want fire reports. And everybody said, well, how long do they want to go back? Remember? Everybody wanted to know right then and there how long they go back. So, I did the research. So they go back about 3 years. And the solution for us to be able to do our fire reporting is to be able to get an iPad or two that has cellular service, so that while we're at a call, one of the officers who's not operating on the scene can actually start to do this fire report so that it's accurate. I don't want to keep iPads in a station that's getting broken into. So I can't even do it. I have a fear of spending money on something that's going to hopefully offset the cost of something that might cost more money. It's a really tough situation to be in. So we got to kind of work together, figure it out. I don't really know exactly what we're going to do. There's some granting opportunities that I'm, continuing to look into. I've had some really great feedback, with the senators and the representatives and things like that, but, years out. So I think the only thing we can do right now is continue to do what Baldwin's always done, put the small fire out, let the larger one kind of burn until we figure out what we're going to do, and spend some money on putting doors on the stations and getting our internet and our cameras, and hoping that I'm then able to replace our generators. So we gotta. I don't know. If you want to have a public hearing and you want me to present to the people, I will do that. I don't care.
So we'll probably have to come to that.
Yeah. I sat down with Chief Rob Karen and Chief Emil Bradley from Leamington, and Chief Rob Karen is the chief of Standish, just so you guys know. They wanted to talk about a regional grant for buying some sort of truck, and I was willing to listen to them, but it's just small problems for us, to be honest with you. So I asked a bunch of questions, and what Chief Karen kind of enlightened me on was they've ran over 200 EMS calls to Baldwin so far this fiscal year. Because when we talk about a year, we're obviously in government and fire departments.
Not from today and yesterday, right?
They ran, I think 2 today. Yeah, I think 2 today. Yeah. too, and I'm grateful. I don't wanna be an EMS director. I will if you guys want me to do that bad, but I really don't want it. Not to mention it's gonna cost more money.
Right.
But we get EMS coverage from them for a steal. I think we paid anywhere from $56,000 to $58,000 we appropriated for them at last town meeting. Rob Karen said that does not fly anymore. He can't cover maintenance costs, payroll, and fuel for his vehicles and his people that are staffing these rescues, and that our rescue cost is gonna more than double next year. And so I said to him, well, what if Baldwin Fire Department can't, and the town can't afford to do our necessary updates, and we end up in a situation like Leamington, because I had to shoot Leamington there. I don't know if you guys know, but Leamington failed the BLS inspection for their EMS side of things and were shut down for 6 months. They weren't allowed to operate for 6 months. And Rob Garin said, well, I can't be your fire department. I already do all your EMS calls. He used a little bit more colorful language than that, but, you know, he basically said, I don't have the people, I don't have the trucks, I don't have the station to become your fire department. So even if we wanted another fire department to contract out, it's not an option. So we got figured out. I'm here to be the chief, and I wanna make sure you guys have a fire department, badly. I wanna see it work. We have the people, we have the brain and the team here, I think, to build it, but it's a little bit more serious, I think, than we realize. And this is kinda just one of those small things that showing that it's coming to an end, so. So, I don't know. Got any good money ideas for us, Joe? Oh, I know. That was a good question. Yeah, so, anything.
So we were having a discussion before you came about interim security.
Yep.
Right? Cause we didn't go as far as you did. You've done all the research on new fire departments and all that, but, there were several suggestions.
Yeah, I'd love to hear.
One is if you, replace the generators to, etch or, engrave each one with some kind of marking to show that it's ours.
Mhm.
Make sure the serial numbers are collected. Another one was when you do purchase cameras, you gotta upgrade to hidden cameras, things that people can't see. And like you said, the ones that, you know, I like your idea about the ones that, you know, you can just read from home.
Yep.
And that keep a record. I think that would have to be, you can't buy new equipment and then not protect it.
Absolutely.
Obviously. What I was thinking is we should put in the paper, may not go anywhere, a reward, $500 or $1,000 for anybody that has any information leading to
A lot of
the
people,
apprehension of,
a lot of people agree with you.
you know.
Just so you know, you're not alone in that thought.
So, you know, we're not talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, we're talking about
Just
enough
understand that.
money right now to get us through in the interim till we have the bigger solution. What were did somebody else have some other ideas? I can't remember.
So we do have the serial numbers, just so you know, we do have the serial numbers of our generators and our proof of purchase, because we have to in order to submit a claim. Problem with stuff like that is that, you know, the will remove all markings to try to make this as unrecognizable as
Oh,
possible.
sure.
I absolutely agree with you on the public outreach part of things. Captain Howard Burnell Fire Department was like, we're in a small town, leverage the way that small town operates. Somebody's gonna say something stupid, or somebody's gonna be mad at somebody enough to rat them out. So I don't disagree with it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, to add a reward to it, it's actually a wonderful idea, because it would increase the incentive, so I'm more than okay with it. I think it's been kind of it's now officially public knowledge being talked about here, but you guys knew about this situation before you got here, right? I mean, that's how fast it goes around town, you know what I mean? I haven't talked to anybody besides.
Yeah, but this is Bob's sister-in-law, and
I
I'm
know.
his wife, so, I mean, it's not, I haven't been spreading it around.
But you can,
Yeah.
I think it's actually something that we're privileged to have such a tight community. You know, and people will, you know, we wanna see this stuff come back. I actually think it's a good thing to leverage. So, go ahead. You were gonna say something.
So, a friend of mine, got grants for Sheffield, Vermont, for $2 million to rebuild their town office and fire station.
Yep.
So if I could get him together with you, would you be open to talk?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I will try to get you together.
Yeah, wonderful. That'd be great. any granting opportunity to offset.
I mean, you know, he's told me what he did, but it just, you know, I'm not into that, so I didn't memorize it.
I understand, and I've heard this story a bunch of times about grants that built fire stations, and I worked pretty hard on, you know, talking to a bunch of different chiefs and looking up a bunch of different granting opportunities. And we have some deficiencies that might prevent us, you know, like I said, our fire reporting, that's only one specific grant, that's just the AFG, the Assistance to Firefighters Grant from FEMA.
I can't believe that Sheffield, Vermont is ahead of Baldwin, okay?
If you drive through Vermont and look at their fire station,
I've driven through Sheffield.
you will be like, why are all of these fire stations gorgeous and there's 4 houses in the town?
Yeah.
It's incredible, actually. For whatever reason, Vermont they direct their money towards public safety. It just is what it is. So I'm happy to. I appreciate the connection.
Sure.
And if you talk to somebody about it, you might also, throw in a curve, which would be that the station needs to be a, place where people can go if they do lose you know, like
Shelter, warming shelter or something
a
like that.
shelter kind of facility.
Right. So we actually have to, right? We're even here, EMA, county EMA, and NEMA, Maine EMA, the Emergency Management Association requires this building to be a warming center. And cold times and no power, essentially. It's really tough for us because we don't have a generator here, but typically this building doesn't really lose power. The sell, essentially, on building a fire station, you know, to help convince some of the community members that this is a good idea and this is where we should spend our tax dollars, is to turn a fire department to have a community room where events can happen and things like that.
Yeah.
I am not opposed to it, but what I have heard is that since it is a fire, this is just what I've heard from chiefs like in Westbrook and in Wyndham, Red Libby and Chief Sloan have advised me that somebody then has to be there for those community events. That person then has to be paid to be there for those events. And so, I'm not against it at all. I'm happy to pay somebody to go be there while our community has an event if we really think that'll benefit the community. I just wanna be very transparent about the things that, you know, the costs that do come with it as well.
Have you looked into any of the USDA?
Yes, rural development.
The rural development, yeah.
Absolutely.
And some areas of Vermont are part of the northern borders, also part of northern New Hampshire as well, and maybe northern Maine, I'm not sure. But I think this would be too far south for the northern borders group, but there might be some USDA rural development money.
There is. So there's a representative, Mike Jenkins, over at Rural Development, USDA. I work with USDA because I have a farm, but we get a lot of grants for a farm greenhouse and things like that. I was talking at a select board meeting not too long ago that our issue with rural development is they do provide a lot of grants, and we actually don't fall under that grant, and there's a reason. Our median income here is too high. And Baldwin is above the state median income.
What?
Yep. State median income is lower. Average median income is lower than the town of Baldwin and also most of Cumberland County. We are still in Cumberland County. It's a very unique position for us to be in because we're so rural and because we only have, you know, what I mean by rural is that we have a population under 2,000. So it's frustrating because I do research a lot of grants and try to see any possible dollar that we can get in order to, you know, help offset these costs, but we're in a very unique position for that. So rural development did offer us very, very, very low interest loans. And I'm talking about like 2 and 3% and in between there, which obviously we know right now, like the national average is like 7.9. Try to get a mortgage or get a home equity loan right now, it's compared to 5 years ago, it's pretty untenable. So there are some benefits, but no real granting opportunity. It looks like our 2 major grant opportunities and I'm talking about for a fire station. We have smaller grant opportunities all over. Forestry grant, I was just made aware today of the Stephen and Tabitha King grant. Goes up to $50,000. We're absolutely gonna leverage that for equipment and things like that, but $50,000 won't even buy us half of a fire truck.
They gave me money.
What, you did?
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
For to go on a field trip for my kids.
Yeah,
I'll just write a letter and he just gave me a check for $500.
pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So I've heard a lot of success with this one.
Yeah.
But again, they maxed out at about $50,000, and when we're talking about like large facilities grant, it's a wonderful thing for the department to leverage for other things. Congressionally directed spending would be number 1, and then number 2 would be AFG, FEMA. So I'm working on those 2 pretty hard.
Earmarks and FEMA.
Yep, that's it.
So if we think,
Unless your friend is something.
that talking, you and Al talking with each other might help. When are you available the next week?
In the next week, Monday and Tuesday next week, I'll be here.
Of next week?
Yep,
Okay.
Monday and Tuesday next week, I'll be here. I have like some carving going in.
You know, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's
That's like my motto in life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
have to try, so, especially in a position like that. So, I hate to bring the bad news, but it looks like obviously, you know, we'll be able to rectify the situation. It's just, you know, we're starting to see the effects of a larger situation. I think also if we were to build a fire station or even a town office fire station, that it would be wise for us to ask Cumberland County for them to maybe kick in money if they wanted a police substation. And the reason is because the nearest substation is either in Standish or in Naples, right, Naples. So Sebago doesn't have one, none of the York County sheriffs go over to Hiram, or even Cornish. I think the closest one is Wilmington. So Wilmington and Naples and Standish are our closest police response. Kind of allows criminals to do as they please, and it takes a long time for the police to respond. That's really all I got. I don't wanna, I have a lot more, but we'll talk about it next week.
Maybe we'll, you know, work out a deal with them, free office space for, you know, I don't know, but.
I think it would be wise to at least talk to them.
Yeah.
The county has been pretty receptive to us asking for upgrades on things because they want us to be in step with the rest of the county.
Mhm.
When it comes to public safety, we're, you know, pretty far behind. If you compare us to places like, you know, it's tough, we're in Cumberland County. You can compare us essentially to South Portland, and Wyndham, and Gorham, you know,
Yeah,
these
right.
major cities and towns, and it just, it doesn't really, it's not equal, right?
Right.
There's no, well, there's no equity, so they have to kind of help us a little bit if they want us to stay in the same step. That's all.
Yeah, lots to think about.
Yeah, lots to think
And I
about.
think it's necessary, because we've gotta go forward with it. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the time has come, but.
Yeah, we just gotta figure out it's the finances that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think back a few years ago, we put it to a vote about contracting Cumberland County, and it was turned down, but back
Yeah.
then, we didn't have a need for it, really, it wasn't like it is now, it's, you know.
And that might be like a good interim also, you know what I mean, because there's no way that we're building a fire station next year or even the year after that.
You've gotta put some money into it now, you have to,
Yeah.
there's no choice.
Yep, that's just it. So like I said, I have no problem talking in a public hearing, you know, if we wanna wait until, you know, June or July, whenever we have our town meeting, I have no problem, you know, not only highlighting what our public safety department here, our fire department has done for the town and accomplished in the last year, because it's been significant. We've made some pretty major strides in the last, you know, 6 months, 7 months, and, from where we ever were, and what we can actually continue to offer the townspeople if we're, you know, if we work together and figure out how financially to support them, so.
So Steve, what are we doing now to secure the facilities?
So I spoke with Spectrum to get internet to both stations. That should hopefully be installed and ready to roll by like mid-January, as soon as I can get it done.
What about locking the doors?
Well, me and Howard, I mean, if you're talking about what did we do in the last 5 minutes, me and Howard like put up a door in the back of West Station, so it nailed it shut. So it's pretty hard to get into, but it's not, there's no way to prove these things, because we have a lot of regular residential windows that are pretty low.
Yeah.
If they wanna get in, they'll get in.
Yeah.
The thing is that cameras need to be installed. Cameras will be here Friday, so those will be here pretty soon. There's a system I bought. It's a cheap camera system, but I think you use Blink, right?
Mhm.
Blink operates on the internet for remote access, but it also operates. You can have it operate on a hard drive, like a brain, like I was saying in West Baldwin. So I have those, so that we'll have temporarily, before we get internet and they're able to remotely access and remotely save the videos, we'll at least have a center that it'll go to. So hopefully, you know, I'll be installing, like I said, Joe, I'll be around for Monday and Tuesday. I'll be at the station installing cameras. So, actually, I'm happy you asked that question, because it does bring up one more thing. Talked to Debbie about our credit cards. I buy cameras off Amazon because they're cheap. Fair enough, right? And the only other place to get Blink camera is Lowe's. At Lowe's, we don't have an account with. I can't go get cameras at Cornish Hardware. I can get them at a place that would normally just issue us a PO, and we, you know, pay the bill. And we have a $1,000 limit per department on spend, you know, $2,000 on cameras, and the rest of the road department has $1,500, I think it'd be wise that we maybe increase our credit limit. It's not like we can't pay our bill, it's just that, it's the way it's set up. Debbie had a really good suggestion, I actually believe, but I need your permission. So, she said, maybe it would be wise that you go down to Bangor Savings and see if the fire department can get their own credit card, separate and apart from the $3,500 limit that's spread around the rest of the town departments. How do you guys feel about that?
It's okay with me.
I have no idea what it entails. I've got my own credit cards and business credit cards, but I've never had a municipal credit card in my life.
That's right, yeah.
I don't know why you don't have one, or why, what the restrictions would be.
Yeah.
What would be your source of paying it?
Well, I would just give the statement to Debbie. She would pay it.
Okay.
I guess it would come out of operating budget or whatever, but
Yeah,
I definitely it come out.
I'm curious as to why that's different than just go buy it on your own credit card. So the credit cards that we have have a limit.
Yep.
And who sets the limit?
So from what I've
I have no
gathered,
idea.
from what I've gathered, Bangor does, and from what I've gathered, Debbie has reached out and tried to increase the overall limit, because it's happened a few times. I think it only happened once to me that I got fined because we hit the monthly limit.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just me, it was the town overall.
Yeah, like I
Cause it's my card, Robin's card, Debbie's card, Steve's card, BAK card, they're all linked and they're all.
$3,500 for all.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
it's like $3,500, and I think when she said she reached out to Bangor, they weren't willing to increase the limit or something. I don't know what the deal was with that.
Debbie kind of mentioned they needed auditors reports, and it was
Yeah.
an exorbitant amount of paperwork or something to get our limit raised, which is why she made the suggestion for a separate card.
Well, go talk to them, see what happens, but.
Okay.
Wonder why they just give you a different card.
Well,
Right? I know, I
don't know.
Yeah.
It seemed the same way to me, like, why can't, I would just prefer to increase the limit on the one that already exists, instead of
They
continuing.
should just increase the limit down wide, and then it wouldn't be a problem.
Maybe go to a different bank.
You threaten that, they might do it.
Right.
They might sing different songs.
Right.
So, I mean, I'll approach Bangor next week, you know, between installing security stuff, and see what that comes up with, and obviously I'll be here next Tuesday for our selectmen's meeting. Other than that, are there any suggestions for what we should do, or how we can maybe help Debbie get the information she needs to, you know, increase her credit limit? I think it's, you know, it's you guys too, I mean, let's be honest, when we need to buy something, whether it's for the fire department or for the public works, it's never $500, it's always like $2,000.
Right, yeah, yeah. I mean, and you combine all the departments together and it's $35 for,
Yeah.
they.
Debbie was honest, she said, you know, they don't spend a lot on a credit card.
Right.
They have apparently a second card too, I don't know, I'm not the finance director, you know, but
Right.
they obviously don't do this for a lot, and so it's primarily probably me and Chris.
Right, well, you guys get the higher cost items.
Yeah, the higher cost items, and then Robin orders like all the cleaning stuff and like that, and then
Yeah.
BAK, I don't know what they buy, but I know she's got one.
They buy like,
Snacks and stuff,
like
yeah.
that. Debbie buys paper or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Right, yeah, but you guys get the higher end stuff.
And if we can shop local, we do, because that's obviously the purpose, but.
Yeah. That it?
Definitely for now, yeah, for now.
Well, thank you for keeping us
Next,
informed and
yeah, absolutely.
doing all the research. and-
Next meeting I'll have some nice good news, it's just a complicated matter, but it's good news. We'll be enlightened.
All right.
I can talk to you after the meeting about it.
Okay. That'll work.
Next thing is, you know who shot off our signs?
I'm gonna say probably the same people who stole your generator.
I get a good feeling that, yeah,
Don't see why it wouldn't be. Somebody managed down of all of them.
yeah,
They did cut down the sign in Cornish too.
oh, really?
Yeah, just over the Cornish Station Bridge or Baldwin Station Bridge, whatever you wanna call it.
Yeah,
Um,
Veterans Bridge?
I was gonna say Closest Bridge, but I'm trying to say.
But get used to it, she's gonna be back here again.
I know it. Basically that state sign that they had put out that said public boat launch.
Yeah.
I bought that one too, so. They didn't get anything else in Cornish, I thought maybe they thought it was Baldwin's,
Maybe they did.
I don't know.
That's the mentality of
No.
the people that.
Apparently they were shot though, it looks like Debbie was, one of the residents in town recovered some shotgun shells,
Yeah.
Um, It's tough because it's one of those things where, you know, she didn't do anything wrong, but she probably should have left them where they were and had the Cumberland County Sheriff come and recover them. It's tough. We see a car accident, we wanna pull the person out of the car, it's a bad idea, just so you guys know.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
wait for the fire department to come, even if you think they're done.
I've, been in contact with the deputy that's investigating this, and she's gonna go and talk to the lady and see what she heard and saw, and I guess,
Do you know who's investigating it? Is that Nick Betty?
no.
Okay, that's who's doing the station.
Danielle Welch.
Oh my God,
Deputy Welch.
perfect.
She-
That's our best sheriff, that's all right.
Other,
Yeah, I work with her cousin.
she was pretty decent on the phone.
She's wonderful. She's who you want.
She should reach out to Mr. Kyle or Steve Estes.
Kyle must have heard something.
Oh, Kyle woke up to the shotguns the
Oh,
night
he did?
before. Kate, well, Kyle didn't, Kate did.
Kate did?
Kate woke up Kyle and
Maybe she
was like,
was-
there's gunshots outside, and Kyle was like, what? But by the time he even got out of bed, it was long gone.
Yeah.
And then it was like the next night I think he called me and told me they got shot up.
Yeah,
And then, cause he saw that, and he drove down to his sign to see if his sign got shot up again.
yeah,
Cause last time they shot up
Yeah, they did.
our sign down there, they shot Kyle's sign.
yeah.
And so he drove down, and his sign didn't get hit, and he was like, thank God, cause he just replaced it, I guess, too. Like, just replaced it, he said. And then they cut him down the next night.
Yeah,
But he said that it was at like 2:40 or something like that in the morning. He says, my camera had to have picked up somebody going by on the road.
so hopefully she goes, I'll email
So
her.
Kyle's like, I've got cameras on the shop.
Yeah.
So they had to come up or get down the hill.
Right,
Take a look at that, Jake, I thought I see a camera in the corner there. on the
He's
right
got
side.
half a dozen cameras on the shop.
yeah,
So, at least,
So, I know he called Hank and told Brian Hank to call him.
mhm,
I don't know where that went to.
okay,
'Cause he's like, I look right, he goes, my camera looks right across the bridge. He goes, I can see him. He goes, I can see that sign across the bridge.
oh, yeah.
He goes, it's not clear, but I can see it in the camera. Or was it?
There should be one coming, when you're coming down the hill too, there.
Yeah, so.
Well, if you can see that sign, even as the vehicle passes in either direction.
Well,
you'll
that's
be able to see
what Kyle said. He says, I should be able to at least get something. He goes, I don't know if he ever looked at it or if anybody reached out to him yet about it, but.
Maybe she will, once she goes out, maybe.
can't be a lot of traffic at that time.
Well, that's what Kyle said. He says, there can't be too many cars going by at 2:45 in the morning.
And by the pattern, it looks like it was shot going down too, you know, towards Kyle's, you know.
Yeah.
So they stopped, shot it 5 times and then continued on. Maybe they went down, up around the river road too, you know. That's it.
So he's got cameras there.
Frustrating.
It is. I mean, I take it personally, really, you know.
Town is full of good people and it only takes a couple idiots.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, something tested in general, we wanna talk about this tonight. Some research on it.
No, 'cause I was gonna email him to talk to you, this is about the discussion we had about Tom Karen.
Yeah, is that a personnel matter or is that public knowledge? Cause I have no problem addressing that, I'm gonna wait till you're done meeting. I'd love to get that over as well.
Well, I mean, I think we proved that his question was about pay of a certain time of the year, and I think we proved that,
So we are good that this is public knowledge?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, sorry guys, this is like a load of problems, but, yeah, he was paid, number one. So he sent us a message saying that he wasn't paid and all of these people were owed money. I was I have really good documents, it's pretty easy for me to show you what I paid and when. He was concerned that he wasn't paid for that time in December. He was absolutely paid for that time in December. There's no real discrepancy there. You can match up what my spreadsheet says with Debbie's records as well, and the money was paid out, and the check was written to him, so. And it was deposited, so he received the funds. I did notice that what he did was illegal. He illegally accessed our fire reporting system because that's the way that we develop our payroll. He was fired from the fire department as a result of multiple negative infractions, things that made our reputation really look bad in neighboring departments that we've been working really hard to try to repair, and also things that happened on fire grounds that were just generally unsafe. So I followed the Baldwin personnel policy to the T, and I fired that person after taking all of those steps. After being fired, he still accessed MEFRS, which is our, main fire reporting incident system. And he's an administrator on MEFRS and actually used his administrative privileges to lock me out of MEFRS. He also is the person who made payroll while he was with Bruce, working as fire chief. And what I figured out was, I've called Maine EMS today, who is basically the governing body over this access to MEFRS. I had them restore my administrative privileges, and I looked, and Tom Blatt login was on, I can actually tell you.
MEFRS, how do you spell it?
MEFIRS, MEFRS. Tom Karen's last login to MEFRS was on 12/13/23 at 18:50, at 6:50 at night. So just a couple of weeks ago. He was fired on August 12th, if I'm not mistaken. So, 6 months after, 4 months after being fired, he still accessed our system, locked me out of my administrative privileges. Now this system has a lot of personal information in it, the rest of the fire department's social security numbers, their payroll, their, quite a bit of information that he shouldn't have access to. Now also, he said that the documents that he printed that you looked at from him, those are MEFRS printouts, those are printouts from MEFRS. He controlled the payroll at the time. So he can make whatever amount of money he wants in there to say that the town of Baldwin owes him. We pay, and I've said this before to you guys, we pay for training and payroll. That's what our appropriation at town meeting time says that money is for, meaning we spend money on training the department, paying the department members while they're at training, and we pay their payroll as their call hours. Tom Karen, if you look in there, has plenty of activity hours, which are not training and are not call hours, that are listed as SOP, which is our standard operating procedure review, and some administrative functions that when I first took over, I had some beef with paying him because I don't believe that nobody else in the department takes money for stuff like that. Right. Nobody else. Everybody who shows up when Howard goes and replaces airlines over on the trucks in the shop or goes and does his truck checks, he gets his $500 captain stipend for that, and he doesn't ever ask for anything over. Cheryl Stackhouse comes into the office and double checks all of her money in our spend. She doesn't get paid any extra money than what she gets paid on a call or a training. So there should be no exception made for him. May I add a little bit more information?
Sure, yeah.
I hate this. I'm not a big rumor or small town person, but I have a piece of nice news actually for you guys that I think I forgot about it, being a little frustrated, so I apologize. Baldwin Fire Department was called yesterday or 2 days ago on New Year's Day to one of the largest scale rescues that Cumberland County has had in years. And Baldwin Fire Department did an excellent job, was called to be a part of this rescue. 3 individuals were stranded in the middle of the woods. I don't know if anything's true about this.
I heard something about that.
Yeah. Well, we were called with Leamington, Hollis, Danish, Sebago, and I think Buxton. Yeah, I believe Buxton. Huge scale effort. Baldwin has worked on repairing their reputation so much, we were one of the crews that was chosen to go and get those individuals out. Successfully removed both of the remaining individuals out, both of them lived, they made it to the hospital. Baldwin Fire Department did an exemplary job of showing up and doing what they were doing. I had a personnel matter at the end of that call with a person who, I don't, you know, it should probably be in an executive session that's talking about names, that kind of didn't really, that performed completely alone outside of what we were doing, showed up without really letting anybody know that he was there, and put himself in an extremely unsafe situation. Then proceeded to argue with me and curse at me at a scene in front of all of these departments. Yeah. In that conversation, made it pretty aware that this person that we're discussing now, Tom Karen, is formulating as many possible ways to form a lawsuit against us for whatever possible reason. I have no idea. All I said was, I don't really care. I have to deal with you and a large-scale rescue right now, so I could really care less about your rumoring of him. But these people are in contact frequently. Tom Karen and the individual I'm speaking about now. That being said, that's why I mentioned that I follow the roles and personnel policy to the T. I make sure that if we're doing any of these things, that there is no real discrepancy in paperwork on how it's handled. So if you do hear anything from any sort of legal counsel, please let me know if you do. I'm not really worried about it, in all honesty. And your fire department's here for your community. It's pretty awesome.
So right now, we shouldn't be kind of stirring the pot as far as Tom is concerned, because
I mean, all I've heard is from somebody else that he's formulating a lawsuit against us, and that person was angry at the time, so. I'm not a rumor type of person, but I figure if I hear that information, I might as well pass it on.
Remember when we dealt with another individual, a prior code enforcement officer, I heard a rumor through our town attorney that he was gonna be filing a complaint against us, and I got busy and got some things together, so it was a good idea that I did that, and I had everything ready when the complaint came through. That,
let me know what I can do to help you.
you know,
That's all I can say. This is a person who clearly has wanted to take from us quite a few times on different occasions. I tried to make you guys aware of that when it first happened, and it's still continuing to happen. I wouldn't put it past him at all. I wouldn't put it past him.
well, I mean, I think we got nothing to worry about.
I don't. I did everything that
You did everything, yeah, I mean.
to the T of the book.
Right, right.
Since you've been in this, Steve, has there been anybody else that you've had to let go, or?
Not yet, but we're right on the border of this individual has probably worked himself out of this fire department. Yep.
I mean, it was.
Because I know one of the complaints was, he thought he'd being singled out for having a turn in his place.
Right.
Well, I looked up the state statutes, and it's up to him.
Right.
When somebody leaves, to notify the state, and then the state takes it.
Right.
I've tried 3 times to have the state remove Tom Karen's plates. He still drives around with them on.
Yeah.
Well, he's wondering if anybody else is singled out. Well, it's kind of like goes against what he's saying, because you haven't let anybody else go, so he would have to go back on Crawford to find out if Crawford did that to
Yep.
other people, so.
And as far as, you know, myself, my father, and Bruce, we're kind of the lifetime members, so we haven't had.
This is the way that
If you retire from it, you can keep it forever.
Right.
Your spouse can
Right.
have it after you, yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like what you said, the state law says it's my choice.
Right.
As a fire chief.
Yeah.
I believe that there's plenty of people in town who gave to this fire service, whether they're there for 10 years, 5 years, 50 years. And if they left on good terms and they're good people, they deserve the privileges of being a firefighter.
Right.
In my mind, Jimmy should drive around with his firefighter plate. It's fine. Should he show up at a scene and put a helmet and a coat on? No, I'm sorry.
I won't do that.
I don't think he wants to, but I think he's earned it, in my opinion. To me, you get the privileges because you've given the service.
Yeah.
So I don't take it very lightly, taking somebody's plate. It's not something I want to do. But this person that we're talking about right now has really scarred the reputation of Baldwin Fire Department, not to Howard townspeople, to other departments.
Yeah.
Misrepresenting.
Yeah, which violates not only Baldwin's personnel policy code of ethics, we have SOP, and I'm gonna sound like a cop right now, but SOP 18 is our code of ethics. And we're supposed to behave in public like professionals and represent our department in the right way.
Right.
We are professional people, let's have to come and save them. We can't be cursing each other figure out what we're
Right,
doing.
yes, you're right, you have good.
You wanna yell at me in a meeting, you wanna know how I operate really on the fire department side, you wanna yell at me in a meeting, go for it. I don't care. The doors are closed, we're dealing with our internal stuff. You wanna call me an idiot, you wanna call me an asshole, you wanna say all these terrible things to me, that's fine, that's the place to do it. You wanna do it in the middle of a fire scene, I'm gonna, first of all, I'm gonna remove you. Second of all, I will definitely follow up disciplinary action. I'm
Yeah,
the chief of the fire department.
Right, you have every right to do that.
Yeah, I have to. Glorified babysitter sometimes, too.
Oh, I know, yeah, I know. And not only that, people in the public too that wanna, I mean,
We're heavily criticized.
yeah,
We need to look good.
yeah. An individual, there was an accident on River Road one night, and then his car rolled over, and the person was in the ditch. The individual decided he was gonna move the person, and this is when, Jason traveled. Jason yelled at him for moving the, and I think it was Brett, maybe his chief down there at the time. No, it might have been Rob. And he yelled at him. And, I mean, it, can't be doing that.
You can't be doing that. We talk on the side, we're business people, right? We don't yell at each other in the middle of a sales meeting, right? And you're trying to sell a product, you know, yell at each, you know, if you disagree on your tactics, you talk about it after or before.
That will become politics, but yelling at each other there.
So there is a possibility that somebody will be let go from the fire department. I followed up with disciplinary action. They've proven themselves to cause not only safety issues, but also just really severe ethical, questionable behavior. So it's a possibility.
Yeah.
At our next selectmen's meeting, I have a really awesome and very nice plan to bring in some of these people to the fire department. So
I think it also fall on insubordination too.
I try not to be that way, but I try not to be that way. I run a pretty democratic fire department. We like to listen more than we like to tell people what to do.
Right. Yeah.
Amazing, you know.
We get this, maybe not on that subject, is this Elizabeth Sanborn from the school has asked several times about sending some kids over to, I'm gonna call her if you don't mind, and just see what it is. It's not clear to me what they're looking for. He said, I run a career exploration program at Saukville Valley High School. Called Extended Learning Opportunities. I have a group of students who would love to attend a town meeting to present about their amazing work in this class. So, I'm not sure they want to attend a Tuesday night meeting or if they want to attend the town.
Come right down, yeah,
So,
you call.
I'll see what's
yeah.
going on there. Then we've got this other one, these people that want to talk to us about this fabric or clothing exchange or recycling company. I would just have Ron say, come to a meeting.
Yeah.
And it sounds,
You just
they
pretty
put a
much,
box outside and you dump it.
yeah, looking for us to like, not necessarily do a bunch of work, but I think just, inform people and maybe have a
drop box.
or something, yeah. It didn't seem like a bad idea to
Don't
me.
you have the
No,
Salvation Army?
We do. I think they used to do some of the thing over at Tri-Town.
Yeah.
They come and go.
I think the Church of the Nazarene of Sebago, I think they still have they have a store type of thing.
Warming hut.
Warming hut, yeah.
Clothes closet,
Yes,
something.
they still have that over
Yeah, oh,
there.
yeah. Yep, we still have that along with food pantry on a regular basis.
Well, anyway,
Yep.
we'll have to come and talk. Good.
Yeah. Daily guys?
No, nothing, I can't wait until next week.
Yeah, we need a Wednesday meeting, staff meeting, talk about
Personnel policy?
personnel law.
Yeah, we do. I know, I thought, it is Tuesday, isn't it?
I think it's too short a notice.
Too short a notice, we'll plan on it for next month.
Yeah.
Now that Dale is busy.
Right. Another time in the world,
Well, he isn't so far away.
I do actually have a quick question. I know, meetings we were supposed to have with the two individuals, just keep getting pushed off, postponed. I mean, is there any news on
Robin coordinating them.
Yeah.
Should be back tomorrow?
Yeah.
I think he's down in Mass tonight, right, with the dad or something like that.
Oh, that's right, too, yeah. Situation.
Yeah, BAK is not coming back until they get the water heater in the kitchen fixed.
Well, now would be the perfect time to nullify, I would think, you know? I mean, that's kind of, to me, that's kind of like, that was an arrogant email she sent, you know, it was like, just
Yeah.
to the point, and,
This program was established by the vote.
Yeah, I know.
So I would.
yeah, that's kind of why I was looking through, and it's kind of the way it's worded and stuff too, it's, you know, it's, and it was established under the assumption of a couple, three different things. Well, them assumptions, you know, we'll have to look more deeply into it, did they get fulfilled, or are they
Yeah, I don't know.
still assumptions?
But I have phone numbers, I think I could probably try and call. But she doesn't answer the phone, she doesn't answer email.
I think she's avoiding that.
I think she is, I think, but, hey, I could probably call Joe Colby and schedule something for later in the week.
I don't know if that's really pressing this time of year, there ain't a whole lot of new permits going out, I would think. January, probably, I don't know, but.
Code enforcement officer's pretty busy over there.
Yeah, well, we still got Dawn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's holding the reins until somebody else comes in.
He'd like to be loose in the reins, I think.
That's all I have.
All right. Well, I'll see if I can get ahold of Joe and arrange something. Let's get that one done.
So I forgot that, Robin was gonna be up tonight too, so I thought he was gonna make it out.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing is, you and I talked the other day about the flooding that we had, on the 18th.
In the basement, yeah?
In the basement. There is a drain that goes to daylight down over the bank.
Oh.
It's, I'm pretty sure it's gotta be that one right in front of the furnace, but it's plugged.
Probably is, yeah.
'Cause everything drains that way, and the floor all slopes that way.
Oh, yeah.
I think we just need somebody to come in and, snake it out.
Snake it out. It could be plugged at the other end.
Yeah, it could be,
Yeah.
you know,
We have a drain like that in our basement, our dirt basement, and it floods every year, and everything's up high, and that drain's plugged too. So they do. Chris, what's happening in the highway department?
On a personal note, I had that happen at my rental, it cost me a sale too.
Oh, really?
My rental flooded, doing 2 feet of water as well.
Oh.
Road department, we have a little bit left on Brown Road to finish shouldering and getting repaired.
So you're still working on Brown?
So, well, we got it patched up and said, okay, we'll come back to it, because we had more pressing roads.
Okay.
So, at this point, I think, other than, you know, like Saddleback could always use a little bit more gravel, and this could use a little bit more gravel. I think at this point, I've got all the roads re-shouldered and back the hot top back up. I've got probably 75 feet left of Brown Road, that's it.
They finally get caught up after the whole summer.
Yeah,
sticking
so
in there and-
it's been very good. We got the 21 International back on Friday. Steve and I went down to get it, cause they were talking about snow, and I was like, So we went down and grabbed that, we got the 09 back. So at this point,
Let it snow.
I have all the trucks in the driveway. I don't know if everything works yet, but I have all of them. We used the 21 today, so that was good. I got the 1-ton sander put back together, new chain put in that, new hydraulic pump put on that. So that one's ready to go, so as long as the spinner works on the 21 and the plow still hooks up, it should, right? We will be at full operating capacity for incoming snow, and after Thursday, let it snow. I've got a little bit left to do. I'm gonna try to do a skim coated gravel on Sam Pond, because that road is horrendous. It's been horrendous. I've kind of pushed it off, cause I had better plans, and better plans didn't happen, so.
Right, yeah.
We're gonna do a skim coat over that tomorrow or Thursday, and get everything dressed for incoming snow for Sunday, and if it still shows up, we're talking about it.
Yeah,
And then, potentially next Tuesday, some more snow, and then more rain on Wednesday, and then more snow after that. So, we'll see how the weather goes, but we are at full truck capacity working.
a lot better than we was, huh? Good.
I've got parts coming from JCB to hopefully slow down our hydraulic leak, because that's gotten worse and worse. It took an arm and a leg to get a hold of somebody and get some service, because Lewiston Auburn will sell it to you, but they won't touch it, they won't call you, they won't, nothing. So we don't talk to them, I talk to Concord, and that's where I get my answers from.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so we're in good shape, I think.
Good.
And I don't know if you guys talked about it, I did see that they were over across our side of the road doing mulching today.
For the Frisbee golf?
For the trail.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you did, I saw the skid steer there, and I was like, oh, cool, they're across the road. I haven't gone up to see where they've gone, or what they've done, or anything, but I saw it.
I get my little jab.
Well, I saw that they like went in, and that was it, and then it kinda stalled out, like last week or the week after or something, the week before, I'm like, oh, okay. And then I saw him up there today, hooking onto it, and I was like, okay. And then I saw her, when I come back from lunchtime, I see the skid steer on my side of the road, so.
Huh, okay.
Haven't seen how far he's gone, don't know, but.
I think he said he'd be done by Friday or something.
Really? I see that the estimate or something that you sent out was blank, it was like, okay.
What's that?
The estimate from that guy that is doing the path, but everything was blank.
The email?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. I just sent him an email saying, hey, you know. What's going on? He's alert about it right now.
I didn't expect it till like next spring or something like that.
Yeah.
Good.
Other than that, that's all I've got. I bring good news.
Yeah.
Flip the
Debbie
roll.
Flip the roll.
Debbie Downer.
You have it all right. Ain't one thing, it's another. Did you tell you guys?
Yeah, first of all, I approve of the fire department, I'm very grateful to them. Just, a little something positive for you, Steve.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And, I think it's wonderful that we're gonna get walking paths, so we can get known for things other than stealing generators off of fire trucks.
Right,
So
yeah.
positive something for the town,
That's signs of target practice.
Great, I think it's a great move on the town's part, because it is a reputational thing.
Right, it is, yeah.
And I wanted to ask the president of the Historical Society, who also happens to be selected, if we could get a copy of an historical tax map, say 2010, so that we could have better delineation of, zoning. Because the Cumberland County gives us a tax map with no zoning lines on it, and O'Donnell used to put the lines on it. So if you look at a 2006, you got the zoning lines. And maybe if we had one of those, and, you know, it would be nice for the planning board, for the code enforcement officer, maybe you guys too.
Yep, yep.
And then a question, we used to have Cumberland County come in, you know, like once a month they came in and you could talk to them, one could talk to them, and maybe it was once a week, every Friday, I forget. But, I wondered, after thinking about this thing about the zoning delineations on the map, how do they assess land if they don't care about how it's zoned? I mean, if the Highland District is the same as commercial district, it seems to be different to me. And I would love to have the opportunity to ask the, Cumberland County
We
about
used to
that.
be in there every Friday morning, since it's colder, and then they kind of dropped that, and, yeah.
So,
So the question is, does zoning impact,
well, I actually have more of a question than that, Bob, because I'd like to know how they assess land, not just, I mean, that's really what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
You know, because I've heard weird, what sounded weird to me, things that they divide the land up and give it different values, whether it's a Class A or Class B, you know, it just was very confusing.
What I found during the last assessment is it's almost up to the discretion of the assessors.
Yeah,
The officer, they went and they charged me, and he didn't call it a view tax. I cleared a bunch of land down back and I can see the lake. Well, Baldwin's never had a view tax, that's what everybody calls it, a view tax. Well, he upped my taxes, my assessment by $50,000, and he didn't wanna call it a view tax, it's a view factor. It's all the factors that lead up to the value of your land.
Right.
So it's all up to their discretion.
Yeah.
I got it down 25, but regardless, it's still a view tax of another $25,000, that's,
So I'd just like to know if they don't use.
no, I think it's all their discretion, I think they're a bunch of crooks, to tell you the truth.
You're on my side.
Yeah,
there.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
The shit I went through with that assessment,
Yeah, but when Ben was here, because
Yeah.
my land, about half of it's in the Highlands, and Kenny can't even go up it on the tractor.
Yeah.
I mean, and Joe, Bob, you know that land that Anderson has, it's pretty hilly.
yeah,
You know,
we got.
and where my driveway is, it's flat, but if you go off to the side, it's like it just goes right down, it's an escarp. You know, and it goes right down and then up again, it's like, it's not buildable, and, you know, but he says, oh, Ben said, that doesn't count. We just tax, everything's the same.
Well, that, I'm just kind of wondering,
Yeah, I know,
you know.
me too, I did.
Just
And-
wondering.
But he did, I still give him credit, he'd come over to my house, and he walked around the land with me, I think he did knock down the taxes a little bit for me.
There's an interesting, thing, a bill that's being proposed, you have your, yeah, they just got one right there. Somebody, somewhere in the state, I guess is concerned with the same type of stuff. And I don't know.
they evaluated the neighbors across the street from what used to be Jody's house. Everybody's been down through it in a while, it's run down a little bit, the guy's elderly, he doesn't really take care of it a whole lot. His house got evaluated more than a brand new house across the street with a big ass garage on it. Yeah. So it's all up to their,
I got a lot of discretionary
Yeah.
room for them, and I'm just, you know, I'm the kind of guy, I didn't appeal my taxes. I just said, okay, that's what you know. But what I'm learning is we, the townspeople, when there's a reevaluation, should just asking you to tell me what I should ask them.
Well, I didn't see your tax bills, and I don't know what your problem is, but.
Well, I have to pay them, that's my problem.
Yeah.
There's, doesn't jump right out at me here, but, one of the, here it's maybe here. Here's a, coming up from in the next session here, in the next few weeks. LR 2833, an act to allow municipalities to use land value taxation. It allows municipalities as an alternative to the usual methods of property taxation to voluntarily elect to use land value, which is a levy based on the value of the land itself, not the buildings and improvements. Then there's another one here that,
I don't know what that means.
yeah.
If your land's worth $10,000 and be taxed on that $10,000,
Then, of course, some of these bills are just a statement this way, they don't flesh them out until they start talking about them. But this one is an act regarding the property value reassessment process.
It's just a title.
Seeks to address property tax value reassessments, including reassessments of mobile homes, working waterfronts, as well as data used in the reassessment process. So, you know, it gets everybody's attention, I think.
Yeah.
But they don't. No, it's just like another example. You can tell I have a deep for the assessment. And this one actually worked to my benefit. A bunch of years ago, we split some family land, and right on back to my house, I get the same identical 30 acres as my brother had. His is worth $13,000 more than mine, which is fine because he pays more taxes on it. But how do they do that? You know what I mean? It's acreage, but they didn't walk it to see how wooded it was, anything like that. It's just all of a sudden they put the assessment on this 30 acres and this assessment on this 30 acres.
Maybe
So
Almost sister laws.
I wonder if we could get some answers out of them when we're not fighting over our individual taxes, but just, you know, for everybody.
Well, I was wondering maybe we can get somebody to come in and talk to a group of people.
yeah. It sounds like they need like a standardization of.
I'm sure they have a generic set of rules that they follow, but
What are they?
Like you said, it's up to the discretion.
it's gotta be up to the discretion, you know?
With mine, they said, I got the tax write-out and it said that I had a fireplace. I don't have a fireplace. You know, so that was another thing, you knocked it down on.
Yeah.
Well, one of the first things you'll find is that, if they don't go in the house and look, then they make assumptions.
Yeah.
All I had to do was look in the front, he came to the front door and looked in, he didn't, his stove
So,
there.
if you can go online, it's one of the nice things that we did, was this assessing agent, is we have the online data. It's called Vision.
Yeah.
You go in and you can see what the online data is that they have for your property.
Yeah, that's how I knew about it.
And, I had somebody call me very upset about their assessment. I said, well, why don't you just go look at what they're assessing it for? And we quickly found out that they had the wrong square footage for the house, you know.
Yeah, he had too, like, that I had a different, I had a shed and all that I didn't even have.
But everybody, when they see their tax bill, the first thing they ought to do is, that's right.
Mhm.
I mean, you need, that's what you need to do. It's your bill, don't pay it, just.
Well, it makes you feel kind of guilty because, you know, the county has money and everything, but yet.
Yeah,
You're paying the county with that.
Huh?
Because you're paying the county mostly.
Yeah, that's true,
You vote for what you pay, you know,
So here we are, the county of Cumberland, we can't get a fire
You're
department
paying them.
money for 'em, yeah.
And trust me, I go to bat for you on that all the time from EMA if I can.
Yeah.
See if I can talk to somebody there.
Thank you. Thank you.
All set?
Yep, thank you.
Kathy?
No.
Feel good. All set. Does anything?
Yeah, just, we have to wait for the investigation to be finished before we can get replacement funds.
Yeah, we're laughing because it took us forever to get those replacement signs.
Does MMA cover the signs? That's all free on
That's a
that.
good question.
If MMA will cover it, you just give them the case number. They'll also, you can call them up, tell them you want to file a claim,
They'll answer the case number, the investigation,
Yeah,
give them a receipt for how much it costs, and if it's covered, they'll replace it, if it's not, they won't.
We worked to replace those signs for close to a year.
Yeah.
Well, on the outside, the sign there,
Oh, yeah, and we were so excited because they're metal, and they're not gonna be able to do anything.
Yeah, we made them.
Plus it's Mary's design.
Yeah, just I have some invested
Did you know
that.
that design is hers?
What?
that was nice, steel.
I thought the signs were metal.
They are metal. Yeah.
Well,
Piece of it-
they look like they were fiberglass.
It doesn't look like
They're-
it's metal, it's
they're
the metal on the
plastic.
outside, but the inside is plastic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that
plastic
was-
corrugated with metal.
Yeah.
The signs are like
Then they're misrepresented.
30-second steel maybe.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
They're not gonna be cut-proof, that's for sure. They'll get a good solid, they'll.
Yeah, good size on
It doesn't matter what it's made of.
That was
If
the
you want-
I thought we
looks
just
like
wanted.
that plate heel. I thought you just 1-inch plates on all the time trying to cut through it.
Yeah, I don't know, I'll just, I just said here, I know we want
She'll be there for a while.
Yeah.
Might buy it some time.
I don't even question you. I don't.
Well, last time we had an article in the town warrant for it, to replace two of them, so.
They weren't cheap.
No, they weren't.
It was $3,000 for.
Yeah,
I got the estimate,
We'll just get.
$3,095 for to have them installed.
On the side entrance.
Yeah. It's all good. I mean, Steve was brought that up to us, Steve going.
Well, they weren't supposed to be like that, they're supposed to be one-sided,
Yeah.
I got the invoice there, and it was only supposed to be one-sided, but some reason they made it two.
That's involved in both sides?
Okay.
So as you leave, when you say welcome to Baldwin.
Should say thanks for visiting.
Should say, yeah.
I noticed that the other day.
You can feel what,
On the upside, we can fix it this time around.
So, yeah, so it,
Should cost only half as much because they only put two pieces of metal.
Well, they
on
put
it.
the buy, they can put the buy on
Only
it.
on
on one side, yeah. I think we was only charged for one side,
Oh, good.
because that's all, it's on the invoice, that it's a one-sided sign. So, yeah. Anything else?
That was
Mary, good?
No, I don't, and I really appreciate everything you do. You're amazing, and you are doing really a great job. I went over the Woods Hill Road today, it was just nice, it was all fixed, it looks good. So, and I really appreciate what you three guys do,
Thank you.
because, my gosh,
I wouldn't wanna do it.
what would our town do without you, really?
I think we all just wanna be here for you guys.
Wow, we.
Enough for the pay, right?
I appreciate you anyway, I don't know if anybody else does, but I appreciate it.
Deb, you got anything else?
Just that I don't know if you noticed that these have been updated.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what these are?
Occasion and place fix.
You know, this is a little phone book for, since they don't hand out phone books anymore, we have these little consolidated, resource lists that you should be handing them out to anybody elderly that you know. This is the new updated one. I helped put this together. I wanna see them go out to the old people.
So wonderful.
I did one to Maria Fund, and now it's
Take one to, those are freebies,
I already
take
got
one.
one.
Nice little keychain.
Yeah.
Keychain.
Yeah, you could hang it up.
Take it apart and use the ring.
That's so they don't steal them out of the phone booth.
A what?
Sorry. Dating myself.
Chad, you got anything up there?
Well, yeah, we could. Beach stickers. We ought to get them about that big, instead of the small ones you can't see in the windows of the vehicles.
Larger stickers?
Yeah, and I think they ought to be a little darker colored and everything. And,
That's up to the, beach committee, that, I think we got a meeting coming up.
yeah, kind of ended a month ago.
Yeah.
I think we should just put a toll booth
been on Sandpond.
So you want it just as big as an intrusive as you can get it, right?
Yeah.
So it blocks the vision while you're driving?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got, let's see, January 24th, 7 PM, Sandpond meeting. Good time to bring that up.
Okay, something else for after that meeting too,
Yeah. You gonna be ready to put the footage in this year?
I don't know.
Don't say I don't know.
I don't know, I got another project ahead of me this summer.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You have to be,
Did you find a new job?
I gotta help my father.
oh, yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, he's got a garage he went up at the house,
Oh,
and I got stuff to put into it, I got to help him wire it up and everything.
So you don't know if you're gonna do beach patrol this year?
Really need me?
Well, we need somebody.
Yeah, I could be beach patrol. Maybe, hopefully have a better year.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, last year was last time was kinda rough. Anything else?
No?
Steve, I think you're all done, huh?
I'm definitely all set. I was actually curious if I could just chat with you guys about personnel.
Okay.
Right after.
Alright. I ain't got anything.
When's the senior lunch?
I don't know.
Should be next week.
That's what I was wondering.
That's 23.
I don't have it back yet, so I don't know. Usually on Wednesday?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have it yet.
I don't know what Wednesday it is, the second or
It's not gonna be next Wednesday, I think, she usually does it the 14th, middle,
Third Wednesday?
Oh,
the
no.
third?
I think so.
Be like the 17th or something like
Yeah,
that,
something,
yeah.
usually the middle of the month.
The third Wednesday, wait, I'm normal, hold on. Yeah, the third Wednesday would be the 17th.
17th, yeah.
23.
Is that okay?
Maybe.
That's on the calendar, so I,
It's not on the calendar.
Well, it's 2023, she hasn't changed the calendar.
I know, but I didn't have one in January.
Uh,
Or December, I mean.
well, I guess we're all